discuss the fallout from the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fiasco
Oh boy.
because many people are speculating that this fight had a predetermined outcome. And
Oh.
now the people involved in the fight want to make it clear that the outcome was not predetermined and that it is scandalous, salacious, unfair, incomprehensible for anyone to suggest that the outcome of this fight was predetermined. And to do so does a disservice to the participants involved. So this is a lot of virtue signaling on behalf of the people who were involved in the production of this production. Not to sound redundant there. But this says claims that fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was rigged are incorrect and baseless, says promoter. Claims that the recent record breaking boxing match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was rigged are incorrect and baseless, illogical, and inane, the fight's promoter said in a statement Monday. Paul won the controversial bout, which was the most streamed global sporting event in history, via unanimous decision after 8 2-minute rounds, with judges scoring the fight 80-72, 79-73, 79-73. Most Valuable Promotions, which was co-founded by Paul, defended the authenticity of the YouTuber turned boxer's victory, writing that suggestions to the contrary were fictitious. The statement read, both fighters in good faith performed to the best of their abilities with the goal of winning the fight. There were absolutely no restrictions, contractual or otherwise, around either fighter. Each boxer was able to use his full arsenal to win the fight. Any agreement to the contrary would violate Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations boxing rules. Trash talk and speculation are common in sports, and athletes and promoters need to tolerate nonsensical commentary, jokes, and opinions. But suggesting anything other than full effort from these fighters is not only naive, but an insult to the work they put into their craft and to the sport itself. It is further illogical and inane that MVP, in the debut of a hopeful long term partnership with the world's biggest streamer, an organization that made its first ever foray into live professional sports with Paul versus Tyson, would even so much as consider such a perverse violation of the rules of competition. The bout was streamed on Netflix and saw peak viewing figures of 65 million. More than 72,000 attended the match at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, paying a total of $18,117,017 to do so, the most for any U.S. fight ever outside of Las Vegas. The event also broke various betting records according to ESPN, with both BetMGM and ESPN Bet reporting that more money had been wagered on the fight than any other combat event in either company's history. However, the fight drew criticism from across social media and the boxing world. Hall of Famer Oscar De La Hoya was among those who questioned the legitimacy of the result. Everyone is talking about how staged this fight was, said De La Hoya, who is now a promoter on Instagram. I do believe it was scripted, and I believe that Tyson was certainly held back. Look, I'm a fighter and I can see it. It goes on the record, and if it was sanctioned, Jake Paul paid to get the W on his record for what? For his own personal satisfaction? Paul's own comments after the match added to the controversy. This 27-year-old told a press conference that he definitely took his foot off the gas, adding that I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt. Nakisa Badarian, who is MVP's other co-founder, defended Paul, claiming that those questioning the result are in denial about the former streamer's boxing ability. This is not the first time Jake Paul has faced unfounded skepticism or outright disbelief as a professional athlete. And frankly, the claim that this bout must have been rigged is just the latest backhanded compliment to come his way, Badarian said. So, I definitely saw a lot of this. I actually did watch this fight, but of course I didn't pay for it. What do you make of the notion that the fight was predetermined, and what do you make of these individuals, Paul and his, business partner, who they both co-founded the They both co-founded the promoting company that put this fight on, saying that if you make that assertion, that you're just crazy and out of your mind.
Yeah, whatever with those people. This was completely this was a cash grab, and people got with this fiasco, and the winners of this was Jake Paul and Mike Tyson and these promoters. Everybody that was involved, BetMGM got a bag out of this. ESPN got a bag out of this. Um, and the people that bought into this were the losers. So it was all of those people versus the people. And yeah, anybody that legitimately thought that they were going to get a legitimate fight here, I feel sorry for those people. And as the fight was going on, as the humiliation showed that it was, because honestly, I only caught the last round. And while looking at the last round, I was like, boy, I could not have watched the other rounds of this crap. Like, what the hell am I watching? Yeah, man, it was just a cash grab. So, one of these days, man, they won't. I was gonna say one of these days, people are gonna wise up to stuff like this. But no, they're not. They're gonna just fall for the next one. And so the people that bought into this, the people that actually didn't have a Netflix subscription and went and got one just for this, I feel sorry, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta hold that L. But in the sense of holding that L, hopefully you're aware now that there's going to be more of these types of events. It may not be Netflix, but there's going to be more horse and pony shows this is akin to like a circus act where come watch the man box the kangaroo.
Yeah.
And the guys are, hey, wait, a man boxing a kangaroo? No way.
It's paying a ticket to see the three-headed
Yeah.
conjoined twins.
Yeah, or the bearded lady.
Yeah.
Or wait a second. We got those now. Ha ha ha. No. Ain't nobody paying to see that. No, but seriously, it's the same thing. It's the same traveling circus with carnies and stuff. And people actually bid it in 2024. So for the people that's hollering that, oh, this was fake, this wasn't really real, newsflash, man. We could have told you this 4 months ago. But I feel sorry for the people that actually fell for it. Next time, I won't feel sorry for you. But what are your thoughts, man, on people speculating that, hey, man, this fight wasn't really authentic, and the promoter saying that we're just delusional haters that don't want to give Jake Paul his credit? What are your thoughts, man?
I don't think it was rigged, but I do believe it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think the outcome was predetermined, but I also think the crime in this, for lack of a better word, because it's obviously not a crime, but the crime in this whole thing is people actually cared to see a 68-year-old man fight a YouTuber. That's the crime in all of this. Like, to that end, I say, who cares? Like Mike Tyson's, no, I said 68. Mike Tyson's 58 years old.
Mm-hmm.
In what aspect of life does a 58-year-old beat a 27-year-old in anything physical or athletic? But people bought into the idea that this would actually be competitive. And that's the problem. So I don't care about whether it was rigged or not, if it was predetermined. To me, who cares? The point is, where is this? The point to this whole thing is, what was it? 65 million people at peak viewing hour. At the peak viewership of this fight, 65 million people were looking at this. And the gate earned over $18 million. the most for any US fight ever outside of Las Vegas. Do you know how many great actual fighters have performed outside of Las Vegas?
Yeah, man.
Do you know how many? Do you know I've watched Canelo Alvarez fight legitimate boxers not in Las Vegas?
Hmm. Hmm.
I've seen I've seen all kinds of actual boxers, premier boxers, not fight in Las Vegas. And the fight that broke the record was 58-year-old Mike Tyson versus 27-year-old Jake Paul, who rose to prominence making YouTube videos about Pokemon cards. So of course they're laughing to the bank.
Absolutely.
And the real perpetrators of this are people who buy this stuff. Boxing is a non boxing. You speak often about people who aren't like how humans are just not serious. Boxing is a non-serious sport. And the people who follow it have embraced this and have basically decided, well, boxing doesn't take itself seriously, so why should I take it seriously? I'm just going to, get my popcorn and get my seat on the couch, and I'm going to pay for my ticket to the circus that pulls up in the parking lot of your local mall to see the trapeze artist or the 8 foot tall gator. Or like I said, the conjoined Siamese twins, or yeah, the 8 foot tall giant with one arm or one eye, the Cyclops man or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what you sign up for with this stuff. But boxing, because it's been ruined by promoters, has become a non-serious sport. And so its fandom is also non-serious. So I don't even care about it being rigged. Who cares? Because even if the result was legitimate, the fact that this was even a thing is a joke in the first place. So I'm looking at these, and you know what's so disappointing is some of these sanctimonious, self-righteous boxing purists who defend boxing against stuff like this were some of the same people that I was watching leading up to the fight, talking about how they couldn't wait for this and how they were going to buy it.
No.
So at that point, what's the point? Who cares? Why are we even debating this? Everybody is complicit in being a part of the sideshow that boxing has become. So if we're all complicit in it, why are we even chattering about whether it was a conspiracy or it was fixed? Who cares? Who cares? Why do we care that it was fixed? What's the point? I don't get it. That's like, that's like paying, that's like going to, like your local state fair and paying to get onto the rickety roller coaster. And then when you get off the ride, you're complaining to the people who put the fair together that the roller coaster was rickety.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what these little fairs are. That's what these little fairs are known for. Bad food, those petting zoos with those animals that no one wants to see, and rickety roller coasters. You know this going in. So why complain about the roller coaster being rickety after you've gotten off of it and you got a disjointed hip or your neck's screwed up?
Mm-hmm.
Whose fault is that? So this is boxing being not serious and playing into people being complicit in wanting to get more of it, even though they know it's not serious. I don't give a damn if it was fixed or not. It was the largest. It made over $18 million and it was streamed by 65 million people, which is silly. I've watched Gervonta Davis fight in a non-Vegas fight. I've watched Devin Haney fight in a non-Vegas fight. Like I said before, Canelo Alvarez. I've watched what's that guy's name? The guy who I think right now is the best pound for pound fighter. He has no competitors right now. No, not him. Well, I guess you can throw him in that boat too. I watched Terrence Crawford fight in a non-Vegas fight, and none of these people did the numbers that this fight did. Why? Like if we really wanted to make, if we really cared about retaining the sanctity of boxing, then Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. would have made the most money ever. And it didn't. So that's my spin on this. My takeaway from this is who cares? I don't care if it was fixed. I don't care if it was fixed or not. People are going to want it anyway. These people, Jake Paul can literally get on a video right now. He could literally post to his Twitter right now and say, "Hey, y'all, I'm fighting this person next." And I'm telling you right now, the result is going to be I'm going to win by decision after the fifth round. And these people will still buy it anyway.
No, they're gonna. It's gonna do numbers, whatever is next
It'll
one,
still do not. So you don't really care about whether it's fixed or not in the first period. If that's
right?
the case, you don't really care. So what really are you complaining about? Boxing is a not serious sport, which is sad for me to say because I grew up with it being my second favorite sport. And it is no longer that because it doesn't take itself seriously. And when you don't take yourself seriously, this is what you get. I don't care if it was fixed or not.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing, man. From hearing you give that explanation, it's basically what's happening right now is that Jake Paul is the new phenomenon in boxing because he's bringing over his YouTuber pill, and what he's doing now is he's being a legitimate. Hear me out. He's not a legitimate boxer. He's an influencer.
Well, he's a legitimate boxer because boxing is delegitimized.
But that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
what I'm getting at, yeah, he's not a real boxer.
Right.
He gets in there, he brawls. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He didn't do this his whole life. He's not a boxer. He's an influencer. He gets away with enough to make it seem like he's boxing, but he's not a real boxer. So hear me out. So I grew up liking boxing too, but to me there was always this. I might say some stuff that's offensive to people, but to me there was always this WWF. WWE type thing going on. I've seen too many fights where people are taking dives. You didn't really even get hit like that, but you on the ground now. I've seen people get hit, knocked the hell out. I'm not saying it's fake, but what I'm saying is I've seen people take dives. Now, whether that guy was just being a bitch and didn't want to fight this person for real like that, just wanted to bag, who knows? But I've seen people, there's Mike Tyson stuff. If you want to look at Mike Tyson's knockouts and stuff, there's people out there that's barely getting grazed and they're falling out on the ground, getting knocked out. And so, and everybody knows that back in, at least for me, back in the day, what's his name? Don King. And, these promoters, their objective was to make somebody out of somebody that looks like somebody. Mike Tyson was that. He fit the mold. So he's no different than I'm not trying to be blasphemous. Just stick along with the analogies. But he's no different than like a Drake or something. Like somebody that has the marketability and the ability to do certain things to drive up viewership. I think back in the day it was really boxing. So the Muhammad Ali's, the Holyfields and stuff like that. What's the guy with the grill? George Foreman's. Even though there was probably collusion and stuff back then. When I grew up in the 90s and I'm seeing all of this stuff, all I saw was Don King putting on a show, promoting and whooping and whooping. And right now, boxing is so boring. It's so not it that nobody's going to drive viewership like a Jake Paul would. So what these promoters are doing, and this fight, even though he was fighting a 58-year-old man, it's legitimizing him as a boxer for more stuff down the line. And if they can keep doing numbers like this, especially when he's fighting a 58-year-old man, the next one is going to do bigger numbers. And then the next one's going to do bigger numbers. This guy's going to keep winning. This Jake Paul guy, he's going to keep winning. And the reason being is because it's doing, like you said, boxing's not taking itself seriously no more. They don't care. They just want bags. And so right now, Jake Paul is the new boxing phenomenon. Floyd Mayweather's done. So ain't no more driving up viewership and stuff like that no more. Who else is doing it? You know what I'm saying? Only the people that really like boxing is going to sit down and watch Crawford and Canelo and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But all the casuals that used to tune in and watch somebody like a Mike Tyson, these casuals ain't watching Crawford. These casuals ain't watching Canelo. They'll watch Jake Paul versus Canelo. Now that'll be something that's going to drive bigger viewership. So my point is that they found themselves a cash cow here in this Paul guy, and they're going to keep riding this thing. And I think where De La Hoya was coming from, in a sense, was they let this guy win for more. So the next fight, there's going to be a bigger cash out. There's going to be a big audience, and because if this thing did all these numbers in today's economy, this guy is the real deal when it comes to attraction. And boxing, you know what I'm saying, from what I can see, that they put people on, kind of like Goldberg when he first got in the WCW, man. He didn't lose a fight, and it was must-see TV, man. Every time he come out and spear somebody, it was like, man, Goldberg is still undefeated, but it's part of the script. And I think that's what's going on here with this Jake Paul guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry for the boxing people. I didn't mean to offend people with that take there, but I saw a lot of goofy stuff. Once you're dealing with Vegas, man, you got a lot of collusion and weird stuff. So I'm not surprised that boxing, there's been some weird stuff in MMA things. Guys losing to people that they shouldn't lose to and stuff like that. So once you get into these fights, man, when you get into anything that involves sports betting, honor and dignity is out of the window. And so, yeah, this Jake Paul guy, I don't know who's going to crush these numbers. So they're going to make this guy a legitimate boxer, and he's going to fight somebody legitimate, and he's going to beat him. So my money's going to be on Jake Paul on next person he fight. I'm voting on Paul because they need this train to keep going. Because everybody in boxing's eating.
Well, thus far, he has not fought an actual boxer in his prime. So I'll believe that when I see it. I think the reason why the reason why he continues to win is because he's fighting either non-boxers or boxers who are way past their prime. Yeah. And so the result is predetermined from the standpoint that the likelihood of him winning is greatly increased because he's not actually fighting a boxer who's in his prime or a boxer at all. So until the day that he fights someone that fits that build, it will continue to be a joke. But yeah, he is a legitimate boxer because boxing as a sport has precipitously been delegitimized over the course of the last several years. So it's almost like he's the least smelliest piece of feces in a room full of smelly feces, if you will. But I'm not buying it. I don't think it matters whether it's fixed or not, because it's not it's not legitimate. It's just it's a carny show. It's a carny act. So who cares?
R.I.P. to boxing, man.
Yeah, R.I.P. to boxing like 10, 15 years ago. Been out of here. Been out of here.